New 90-Day Fiancé episode reveals David Toborowsky has left Thailand, his wife, and child. Fans of the reality show franchise that 90-Day Fiancé spawned have become very used to witnessing a lot of drama. The show's fans have seen headlines about cause of death reports, false accusations, new relationships, shocking pasts, and couples that viewers don't support. Despite all the incredible drama, many fans prefer to focus on the 90-Day Fiancé couples they actually like and want to see more of. Thankfully for Annie Toborowsky and David Toborowsky, they are one of the franchise's couples that viewers care about and are rooting for. With that in mind, there was a lot of interest from viewers when it was revealed that David left Thailand, his wife, and their newborn child for an interesting reason. Why David Toborowsky left Thailand, Annie Toborowsky, and their newborn child. Over the last several months, it has been fascinating to track what has been going on in the lives of Annie Toborowsky and David Toborowsky. After all, the couple has done several life-changing things in a row that would be enough to exhaust a lot of couples. First off, David and Annie made the decision to move to Thailand. After that, the couple welcomed their first baby as a couple, Minthira Toborowsky. In the weeks after their baby was born in Thailand, fans learned that David was remaining busy in yet another way. As it turns out, David left his wife and new daughter in Thailand to travel the world for an interesting reason. As 90-Day Fiancé fans will likely already know, David is very active on social media. It is thanks to David's social media activity that fans learned that he'd left his family behind. In an Instagram post, David revealed to his fans that he'd traveled to at least 2 other countries in April 2025. On April 19, 2025, David posted an image of himself sitting in an airplane seat on Instagram. Alongside the photo of himself in the plane, David also included a photo of his seat with several items he'd received during his flight. Most importantly, David's post had a caption that revealed that he'd left Thailand and traveled to Japan on his way to America. In Tokyo, next stop is LA. Long day but I landed. 90-Day Fiancé's David Toborowsky reveals big milestone in baby's life after welcoming second daughter. 90-Day Fiancé star David Toborowsky and Annie Suwan's baby Minthira is growing up so fast, and she just reached a big milestone. David was 24 years older than Annie when they met. He was just getting over a divorce and had lost his job, house, and cars while dealing with health issues. David also had 3 children almost as old as Annie, but she still agreed to marry him. David and Annie's relationship is celebrated for its success, despite many challenges. Even having a baby was not an easy process. However, Annie did give birth to Minthira in March. David recently announced he'd welcomed a second daughter into his family. Amid the celebrations, he also announced a big milestone in Minthira's life. David took to Instagram to share pictures of Minthira at a hospital. Annie smiled while posing next to their daughter, and David was photographed while playing with a little angel and trying to teach her pat a cake. He revealed that the couple went to have Minthira's 2-month checkup. He was a proud dad while revealing that 2-month-old Minthira did so well during her checkup that they also got her vaccinated. David joked that he had forgotten the words to pat a cake, but Minthira enjoyed it. What David celebrating baby's major milestone means for life in Thailand. David and Annie seem to have reasons to live in Thailand forever. David and Annie's move to Thailand was unexpected. Fans were left wondering why David moved with a pregnant Annie to her hometown when she could have had access to the best facilities for welcoming a baby in the US. There were concerns about their baby's citizenship, but David clarified that the child would have both American and Thai citizenship. He kept his Instagram followers updated on every step of their baby journey. However, David has shown no signs of wanting to return to the US anytime soon. David and Annie's baby now completing 2 months in Thailand suggests the couple plans to spend more time there before returning to America. David didn't take Annie and the baby along when he recently visited Arizona for work and traveled to Los Angeles for some beauty procedures. The couple hasn't revealed why they've moved to Thailand, aside from being near her family for the birth. However, amid the relocation, David has hinted at possibly exiting the 90-Day Fiancé franchise. He has also expressed uncertainty about whether he will ever live in Arizona again. Our take on David and Annie not choosing to raise baby in America. David and Annie's post-baby plans shift focus away from America. Annie may still feel like an outsider with David's family, even after all these years. She likely wanted to be surrounded by her own loved ones while welcoming her baby. Annie seems happiest in Thailand, and David appears to support her choice. She stood by him while he rebuilt his life in America, but the couple may have always planned to return to Thailand if they ever decided to raise a family. Whether Annie eventually chooses to move back to the US remains uncertain, but for now, Thailand seems to be where their heart truly is. David Toborowsky and Annie Suwan ask for continued prayers in baby update. Annie Suwan and her husband, David Toborowsky, are in Thailand eagerly awaiting the birth of their first child together. However, the 90-day fiancé couple recently posted a baby update asking their fans for prayers. Annie noted in her post that she was scared and nervous after her latest hospital visit. It seems their baby girl will be making her grand arrival a bit earlier than anticipated. 4 days ago, David noted that Annie's due date was 8 days away. Earlier this month, he also revealed that his wife was set to give birth on March 14th, but that date has changed. During the couple's recent visit to the doctor, they learned Annie was ready to give birth. Annie Suwan and David Toborowsky's baby girl is almost here. Annie posted a photo from the hospital clad in a pink medical gown while standing beside David as they posed for the snap. The room was decorated with pink and white balloons and a welcome baby sign behind Annie's bed. She shared more details in the Instagram caption, writing, "Baby update, we are asking for your continued prayers. Tonight doctor admitted me to the hospital and tomorrow morning Thai time we will meet her. Scared, excited, and nervous, but all will be fine, I got it," she added. David posted the same photo on his Instagram page with more details about their visit to the doctor, sharing that Annie will be doing a C-section. This follows a previous post where the 90-day fiancé star told his Instagram followers that they were waiting to find out whether the doctor would induce labor or if Annie would need to have a C-section. This will be the 90-day fiancé couple's first child together. It's been a rough road to pregnancy for Annie and David, who opened up about their difficult fertility journey over the years. However, in 2024, after a successful IVF treatment, the couple announced Annie's pregnancy. This will be Annie and David's first child together, but the 56-year-old TLC star is already a dad to 3 adult kids. A few months ago, the couple left the US for Annie's home country of Thailand, where their baby will be born and hold dual citizenship. They have been sharing updates with their social media followers every step of the way, and now everyone is waiting eagerly for the arrival of their baby girl. 90-day fiancé's Annie said marrying David was best decision. Are they the greatest couple ever? 90-day fiancé star Annie Suwan thinks she's made the best decision by getting married to David Toborowsky, even though the start of their storyline was rough and never showed any signs that they'd stay together. Annie, from a small village in Thailand, caught David's attention when she was singing at a bar. David thought he was hearing the voice of an angel and offered Annie a drink. A few days later, David proposed to Annie. David was 24 years older than Annie. He had children who were as old as her. David was also on a journey to transform himself when he met Annie. He had been through a divorce with his wife of 21 years, lost his job, house, and car, and had suffered a stroke. After taking his health into his own hands, David lost several pounds and went to Thailand for a fresh start when he crossed paths with Annie. Perhaps the universe conspired for them to meet, since 90-day fiancé became something that changed Annie and David's lives forever. Annie praised marriage and IVF process with David. After years of challenges, Annie and David embraced parenthood. Annie and David announced they were expecting a baby in a September 2024 interview with Us Weekly. Annie shared her excitement, saying she was over the moon after confirming her pregnancy in July. She expressed gratitude for the overwhelming love and support they received from fans during their IVF journey, calling it a powerful experience of turning the impossible into reality. Annie also opened up about her fertility struggles, describing the decision to pursue IVF as the best decision she's ever made. While she called it an amazing journey, she admitted it had been deeply emotional as well. God's will and whatever is meant to be. Annie had to get some fibroids removed before undergoing the IVF process. David, who'd gotten a vasectomy to get his sperm surgically removed, and they did it on Valentine's Day, which David considers auspicious. He described the IVF process as a miracle. David and Annie are forever thankful that they decided to participate in 90 Day Fiancé. It allowed them the opportunity to share their journey. Annie and David are humbled and honored to be a part of the franchise for 8 years. How marriage and IVF improved Annie's life. Annie and David turned hard times into a new beginning. Annie came from a humble background. She met David when he, too, wasn't in a good place financially. David was relying on the generosity of David's friend Chris Thieneman, who had been loaning David money. Chris reportedly funded David's engagement and wedding to Annie. David was living with Annie in a firehouse owned by Chris when she came to the U.S. However, Chris decided to later sell off the firehouse and force David to leave within 3 days. He offered David and Annie a chance to live in an apartment above a storage facility without a stove or functioning windows. Annie had been sold false hopes about what it was like to live in America. She obviously became upset about the new house. David asked Annie to trust her, and Annie didn't betray him. David understood the level of disappointment Annie was feeling because he pulled up his socks and dragged them out of the financial mess he'd created. David figured out how to make money using their reality TV fame. They earned through sources like Cameo, and David was able to purchase a home worth $500,000 in Fountain Hills, Arizona. He took up a career in real estate. Annie did have to struggle for the first 4 or 5 years of her marriage, but David tried his best to treat her like a queen. Earlier, whenever Annie and David were asked when they would like to have kids, they never had a proper answer. They seemed to have made up their minds not to have children, but it's possible they didn't want to expand their family while they were in a sketchy financial state. It was only after they moved into the new house that Annie and David decided to try IVF. Annie became pregnant on the first try. Annie and David may be the greatest franchise couple ever. Annie and David continue to break the 90-day mold. Fans have learned to spot social media clues that suggest a couple has broken up. It could be unfollowing each other or throwing shade through stories and captions. However, in Annie and David's case, nothing like that has ever happened. Although both of them post almost every event of their lives online, they have never created relationship drama for all to see. Their love for each other shines through their posts, showing how different they are from most other toxic 90-day fiancé couples. Their consistency and genuine affection continue to set them apart in the reality TV world. Many aspects of their relationship prove they are truly made for each other. Despite facing criticism for their age gap, they never let it affect their bond. David's young at heart and willingly takes part in things that make Annie happy. They've also worked through their language barrier with time and patience. Annie sacrificed a lot to build a life in America, and now David may be ready to uproot his own life and move to Thailand, so Annie can be near her family as a new mom. Their 90-day fiancé journey sets a meaningful example. A 90-day fiancé star had a heartwarming reunion with his family after being separated from them for a period of time. Anyone who appears on 90 Day Fiancé is likely familiar with long periods of separation from family and friends, as paperwork to process changes in citizenship can often be delayed, as well as other factors that contribute to separations. 90 Day Fiancé Season 5 star David Toborowsky recently left Thailand to head back to the United States to deal with various matters. Before that, David had been traveling to places like the Philippines, trying to obtain paperwork for his daughter. He revealed that he reunited with wife Annie Suwan and their newborn daughter, Minthira Toborowsky. David shared a sweet snap on Instagram holding Minthira as she gazed up at her dad. He wrote in the caption that his daughter looked at him like she wasn't sure it was really him, but he said, "It's me, my little girl, and Daddy is home." What David Toborowsky's reunion with family means. David and Annie have been separated a lot recently. David's reunion with Annie and Minthira comes at a time when fans were concerned that David had seemingly left them in Thailand. But David had serious work to attend to, like getting his daughter's citizenship papers sorted. He visited the Philippines and then the US in short order, causing fans to question why he wasn't in Thailand with his family. Fans can rest assured that David had good reasoning for leaving them, and now that he's back in Thailand with Minthira in his arms, he can get down to the serious business of fatherhood. It's been a bit of a rough road for David and Annie, as Minthira battled serious health issues, but she's on the mend now. David kept fans updated on his progress while traveling, sharing photos of his adventures and posing with former 90 Day Fiancé cast member Rose Vega while visiting the Philippines. David also shared photos that Annie sent of her and Minthira, saying how much he missed his family and loved getting updates from Annie. Our take on David Toborowsky. David and Annie can finally parent Minthira without distractions. Ever since Minthira was born in March 2025, David and Annie have done everything they can to be present parents to their young daughter. Between Minthira's bout with RSV and the scramble to get all of their documents sorted, they haven't been able to relax and just enjoy their daughter. Now that David has finished his business in the US, the 90 Day Fiancé star can settle in with Annie and Minthira in Thailand and enjoy the second chance at fatherhood he's been given. If anyone knows David, they know that he'll be documenting all of it on social media for fans to enjoy. 90 Day Diaries S6E8, Brian heads to Colombia for love, Annie suggests moving to Thailand. In 2021, the 90 Day Fiancé franchise gave fans yet another spin-off called 90 Day Diaries. This time, fans got an intimate look inside the lives of their favorite 90-day couples as they navigated the COVID-19 pandemic. These couples and single reality TV stars did not have a cameraman or producers tagging along with them day to day, as they filmed their lives all by themselves. The spin-off has proven to be a hit with viewers, and it's now in its 6th season. Season 6 follows several 90-day favorites, including Chantel, Robert and Annie, Rebecca and Zed, Elizabeth and Andre, Loren and Alexi, and David and Annie, to name a few. In episode 8, we continue to follow David and Annie's IVF journey, a newly single Sophie ready to move on from Rob and men altogether, and Brian traveling to Colombia to see Nathi and make things official. 90 Day Diaries Season 6 as Annie and David Toborowsky discuss moving to Thailand. Annie wants her mother by her side when she gives birth to the couple's baby. On 90 Day Diaries Season 6, Episode 8, titled, Dear Diary, Let This Be the One, fans continued to follow David Toborowsky, 56, and Annie Toborowsky's, 31, fertility journey using IVF. The couple shared a major announcement with fans the first time they appeared in the new season. They are expecting. After a successful IVF journey, their doctor shared that Annie was 4 weeks pregnant. Now, at 6 weeks, David is doing all he can to make Annie comfortable, even cooking her favorite meals, which include chili dogs. In a confessional, David is oddly convinced that their unborn baby might be a reincarnation of his father because of Annie's cravings for chili dogs, which were his favorite food. My mom, talking to her medium, said that my father wanted to come back as a grandchild. My dad used to love chili dogs, David shared. And so every time that Annie said she's craving a chili dog, it always reminds me of my dad. Hours later, the couple head to the doctor so that Annie and David can get their first ultrasound of their baby. David chokes up listening to his baby's heartbeat. It hit me for real, oh my god, I'm going to be a mom in real life, Annie shares with the cameras. The couple also want Annie's mom in the United States to help her after she gives birth. However, David needs to apply for her mother's green card. Unfortunately, the process might take a year or more, and Annie's mom won't be there in time for the baby's birth. This is not good news, neither of us have family nearby to help with the baby. I am a new mom, I don't know what I'm doing, Annie shares in a confessional. But, Annie has another option, moving to Thailand with David so that they have family to help. David is worried about his job and living a comfortable life in the US. Despite this, David takes it into consideration. Sophie Sierra is over dating men after her marriage ended with Rob Warren. Sophie considers dating women. 25-year-old Sophie Sierra is back on reality TV after her appearance on the 90 Day Fiancé spin-off, 90 Day, The Last Resort Season 2. During her time there, she and her estranged husband, Rob Warren, tried to work through their issues, but in the end, Sophie decided to end things for good because of lack of trust. Now, she's back as a single woman living in Austin, Texas. Sophie also has a new update. She isn't living totally alone after getting a puppy she named Timothy. After things ended between me and Rob moved back to LA pretty quickly to, live with 3 roommates in his basement, she shared. But I decided to stay in Austin, and I recently moved into my place and just signed a lease in my cute apartment. The London native meets up with her former roommate Kay, where they talk about Sophie dating again. She admits that she is still looking for a romantic partner, and even shares that she may start dating women. Sophie has identified as bisexual in the past. "If I don't try it, I won't know," she tells Kay. "I've just been, reflecting and healing from it because I can't jump out of a marriage to relationship because I'm just going to."